Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about our testimonials with Adya Clarity. So I'm actually going to Chicago this weekend, and I have my bottle right here. You can't take too much on the airplane, but I'm taking this. So that way at the seminars, just a couple drops in the water, wherever I am, the hotel, I always have clean water at my availability because I have that with me. So that's kind of become a standard thing with me now. So this is a pretty big thing. So a lot of the testimonials, I did a lot of research on this when I first found out about it, and I just found good results everywhere from a lot of people. As you would know from the nutrition talk, I had mentioned a very important thing that there's this calcification. Bad calcium is getting into our bones and into our systems and causing a lot of things to get seized up, joints, arteries, plaques on eyes and teeth and everything else. So a lot of people taking Adya said that their teeth are feeling cleaner. So I'd always had a lot of impact. It's kind of harder on the back of my front teeth because they're all kind of squashed together, and on the back of them they're always like scraping and there's chunks coming off of there all the time. So after I've been taking the Adya for about like even 3 days, I started noticing I would go like this and little pieces were coming out of my tongue. And now when I put my tongue along the back of my front teeth, I actually feel a separation between the teeth now. So I know that that's actually decalcifying there, and I know it's having good effects. You know, a lot of people that are already pretty healthy might not notice massive changes when they take this, but we just know that it's actually cleaning out your body from the inside. However, here we have a pretty impressive testimony of what happened with her, because we wanted to try this out before we were kind of giving it to you guys, and so we've done this for a couple of weeks. Melanie had some pretty interesting situations, so I'll let her explain her health history. Some of you know it, some of you don't, but she'll just get into that and tell her what happened.
Okay, so for years I have suffered from kidney stones, and for anybody who's had a kidney stone attack and childbirth, you know which one is worse. Which one is worse? Kidney stones are way worse than childbirth. So my last attack was in April 2011, and I was coming up for an ultrasound to monitor my kidney stones in the end of September. The beginning of September, I went on a 30-day trial with the Adya Clarity.
When was your first attack?
My first attack was
2006?
2005.
Okay.
No, yes, 2005.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then talk about the testing that they would do every year? When they're checking you out, saying, you know, they're loaded?
Oh, right, I'm sorry. I just skipped right to the good stuff. So when they tested me for the kidney stones, they did ultrasounds, x-rays, everything, and my kidneys were loaded with stones. They stopped counting at 40 and said, this is basically your life. You're going to have these attacks, you're going to be in the hospital, they're going to give you shots of morphine, and they only do that so that you don't feel like killing yourself. And it doesn't really do anything for the kidney stone. There's nothing you can do for kidney stones. Nothing. So.
And they weren't.
They weren't blastable. I wasn't able to have what's it called, lithotripsy. So they weren't made up of that kind of calcification, calcium, I think, where you can get them blasted and they sort of disintegrate and then you pass them. You still go through pain, but not as much apparently. I don't know too much about that, but I do know that I did this 30-day trial before my latest ultrasound with the Adya Clarity, and I took 5 drops in a glass of water. I drink a lot of water too, so I was getting quite a bit of it. I also did shots, and that's to accelerate the process of getting it into your system and doing its work. So I would take my shots, and because we felt that there wasn't an odor to it when you smell it.
She asked me, she said, does it smell or does it have any taste? And I said, well, it doesn't smell like anything, so I didn't think it tasted like anything either.
Right.
So the shot was supposed to be a teaspoon
in an ounce of water.
In an ounce of water, right? And then followed by another gallon afterwards,
right.
lots afterwards, or a quart at least.
So to my surprise, the taste was shocking. It was kind of in the range of metallic, but not really metal tasting. It was, I can't really put my finger on what it tasted like, but it was...
But definitely there was a taste.
There was a taste, and it wasn't the most pleasant taste, but that didn't matter because I was on this mission, this 30-day mission to see what I can do. Fast forward, had my ultrasound on September 30th, got the results on October 4th, and I am completely kidney stone free. Not one kidney stone to be found. My urologist is stunned, shocked, doesn't even know what to say to me about it. We talked about the Adya Clarity. He hasn't done enough research to promote it, but he has taken many of Dr. Marco's cards, plans to refer tons of people here to get this done because it's a miracle. There is no cure for kidney stones, and here I am, kidney stone free. Not even one. It's like...
And the way the weight off the shoulders kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm not, you know, I don't have, every time I have a little pang, I don't think about, okay, maybe I'm having an attack, I gotta go to the hospital. There's none of that. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
It's like the big dark cloud looming over.
Finished.
Now it's just all sunshine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the deep-seated effects, because we're not just talking about drinking water. Think about this like a magnet going through your body and cleaning out all the junk that's not supposed to be in there, all the toxins, heavy metals, fluoride, chloride, all this stuff that we have in our system and everything. And this is actually magnetized sulfate that goes through and it actually clings to it, makes harmful things inert. It just drops out of precipitation like you see in the glass in the other videos. It just falls out, and actually kind of just think of it falling out of your body. But if you're doing those shots, as they mentioned, you have to follow it with a lot of water, because if that stuff is coming out, you need a lot to be cleaning out. So, you know, I'm going to the washroom a lot or whatever, but that's great. And I'm drinking a lot too. So that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Good exchange, nice and flow, and everything's clean on the inside. Amazing effects on your health.
Yeah, the other thing I want to mention is that the urologist thought that perhaps I had passed all these stones, these 40 plus stones. Now, I haven't made a trip to the ER, so I don't think it was that. I haven't felt anything, so I didn't really know what happened to it. And apparently it just, when you see what it does inside the water when you're watching it separate and do what it does, I guess that's what happened. It softens and you eliminate it through, you know, natural resources.
Yes.
It was really cool. No pain.
Pretty amazing. Very, very amazing stuff, right? So I know this, like, you know, you've seen all the other videos, this is going to have a big impact on people that have, like, candida issues, and joint issues, and all sorts of stuff. You know, a lot of stuff you're coming here for, we can really help accelerate your healing if you're really, really clean on the inside. And that's really just, you know, like we're saying with chiropractic, I'm taking, you know, the blocks out of your nervous system. Well, this is taking the blocks out of your internal systems to clean that out too. Amazing effects on your health. So we're pretty happy. This is kind of like my new #1 thing. And I kind of feel like, you know, if I don't have this with me, I'm kind of feel like I'm lost almost, because you know, I got it in my jacket pocket, and if I go on a vacation, I've got the big bottles here at home now. And some people think, you know, if there's some big crisis in the economy or something where everything goes to pot and we don't have clean water or water isn't running, you know, if there's people like hoarding this stuff, not like it's gold, you know, if something like that happens in the future, who knows, right?
Can we talk about bottled water and why this would be necessary in bottled water?
Yes, sure. Usually bottled water, you know, there's a lot of how it's coming. You know, most of the stuff in a bottled water has been sitting there for almost 3 years before it comes to you, and it's all dead, and you know, it's really not that healthy. And the plastics, he mentions it in the other videos, what type of plastic it should be and everything else. But like, I mean, if you do have to have a bottle of water, you know, 5 drops of that in it, shake it up, wait a few, 30 seconds or a minute, and then you can start drinking it. Were you thinking of something else?
Well, I was just thinking that there are chemicals already in bottled water, and it's not as purified and clean as everybody thinks it is. So this takes care of that. And like you, I don't leave home without it. I take it to restaurants, and they see me, they come with my ice water or whatever, and they see me put my drops in, and they give me these strange looks. And I'm the happiest one in the restaurant because I'm getting the clean water. Yeah. And I wish that they would all realize the implications also, and we could all get clean water.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, like we're not talking about filters, and you know, there's a lot of good filters, and all that stuff is kind of necessary. This is just something to put after the whole thing, after the process. If you come to the office now, the big thing that we have out front, if you look down closely, you're going to see all the gunk. You saw the other videos, but you see that gunk in there. So all that stuff is not getting into your system because it's been taken out by that. So it's really pretty amazing, and like I said, this is my new #1 sort of thing for people's overall health, and I think everyone should be getting this. So we're going to have a special offer here in the office. These are usually $150 retail, and these are usually $25 retail. So our special here is that I'm selling these for 20 plus HST, and if you buy one of these, I'll give you one of these for free. So that's the offer, and I don't have too many of these, by the way. So
that's because I have them all.
Right. So I got some at home, and you know, whatever. So that's the thing. So there's kind of a limited supply of this stuff in general, sort of thing. There's kind of a bit of a, you know, think that we might run out. Hopefully not, but you know, like I say, this is pretty big stuff. So you know, don't waste your time. Get at it quick.
Jump on board fast.
All right, that's it. So thank you very much.
Have a good weekend.
And on the next page there below, if you click on where it says Network Family Care Center, it'll take you to the page where I'll just have the pricing and all that stuff where you can look at those things for next week. Take care.